This is my audience members. Hello, my name is Gustavo Rodriguez, and today I'll be identifying and telling you the importance of why vintage matters. First of all, I'll be explaining how there's over 90 trillion pounds of clothes that end up in our landfills and pollute our environment, with over 100 billion new garments made every single year. So that's going to be provided by Reese A. The second one is, let's identify some vintage. So here I brought with me two garments that I'm gonna demonstrate. I'll leave one right here for now. So the first one, this one's a modern t-shirt. This one's gonna be brand new. You can just tell just by the material as well. And right here, the tag is gonna be a newer tag. So this, it's decently made, nothing too crazy. The weight feels kind of flimsy, but it's still a nice shirt end of the day. But here I'm going to be showing you a 2000, same exact brand, but this, in my opinion, they put more effort. They would have more intricate designs. So here, this is gonna be a piece by the same brand, Stussy, and this is back then when they had that older font, they had the older designs, and they just implemented more creativity into their work. And that's where I think you can easily identify vintage by how it's made, the tag, and what day it's made. As well, you can identify vintage based off how much stitching there is. Back then, they used to cut corners and cut costs by having only one stitch to save material costs. And now nowadays, if you look at your shirt right now, most shirts are gonna have two lines of stitching on the shoulder and on the belly as well. To know what you have and sort of know what day you have, you can have this application, Google Photos. You can quickly take a picture of the garment that you found or what you have in your attic even, and you can quickly identify what day it was made, by what company, and even to see how much it goes for. Let's visualize the waste real quick. So there's many places that you can source clothing, and one of them being the Goodwill bins. This here, we can visualize the waste by every time they bring out a new bin, whatever's left over and they take out gets immediately put back into a dumpster, and all of it gets compressed into a very tight cube, and it just gets sent straight to another landfill for it to be disposed and never seen of again. Another one is gonna be thrift stores. Many thrift stores like to restock every week, and as the week progresses, the prices lower and they always mark down to a point where once it doesn't sell for a very long period of time, they end up just tossing it out and either sending it overseas or just throwing it away. Another one is garage sales. Many people like to have garage sales, and they have all this clothing that they don't need anymore, and they either donate it or whatever they can't sell, they end up throwing it away. So most of this ends up going to landfills and just polluting our environment with perfectly good clothing sometimes just going to waste. And let's understand another importance as well, as most of this newer modern clothes is going to be cheaply made. I know some of you may like this brand based off how cheap the material is and how cheap it is to purchase this. It's going to be Shein. Shein is going to make most of that cheap clothing that you may enjoy, but the process of it is very harmful to our environment, as well as how it's made, which I'll get into in a bit. But that clothing right there is not gonna last you very long. It's cheap, it's not durable, it's just made just for maybe to last you a year or so. And that's gonna lead into another thing, is most of our clothing now is gonna be imported from other countries and not made in the US. With that being said, it loses many jobs of how people can be creating clothing here, and how we can have factories here that can provide more economic growth into what clothing can be made and manufactured here. And that leads to many companies going overseas and creating their companies and building factories in these things called sweatshops, where they even hire children to make these clothing, and it's a very harmful process to the environment, and it's just overall not a good look. So overall, what is this speech about? I basically wanted to identify clothing and help you understand the importance of recycling and giving this garment a new life. I wanted to help you be able to identify it, how to do some research, and I wanted you to visualize this waste to see like how much clothing is being thrown out. I wanted you to understand the process of how new clothes is made and how it's not made to last, along with the cruel and unusual things that happen. With all that being said, and I wanted to also give credit to Ramed for the importance of the cheap material, and Zelinsky for the information on the sweatshops, where they make only under $5 a day. So yeah, I think it's very important to know the history of vintage and to invest in it as well. Thank you. My name is Gustavo Rodriguez.